الرحمن الرحيم واسألهم عن القرية التي كانت حاضرة البحر إذ يعدون في السبت إذ تأتيهم حيتانهم يوم سبتهم شرعا ويوم لا يسبتون لا تأتيهم كذلك نبلوهم بما كانوا يفسقون وإذ قالت أمة منهم لم تعظون قوما الله مهلكهم أو معذبهم عذابا شديد قالوا معذرة إلى ربكم ولعلهم يتقون فلما نسوا ما ذكروا به أنجينا الذين ينهون عن السوء وأخذنا الذين ظلموا بعذاب بئيس بما كانوا يفسقون فلما عتوا عما نهوا عنه قلنا لهم كونوا قردة خاسئين صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. واسألهم, O my Holy Prophet, ask them anil qaryati allati, about the citizenship, the township, allati kanat hadirat al-bahr, which was situated on the seashore, on the bank of the ocean. Iz ya'aduna fi sabt, when they were breaking the law in the Sabbath. Sabbath, it was Saturday. Sabbath is not necessarily Saturday, but any day which is determined or fixed for the liturgical activities, that is called Sabbath. S-I-B-B-I-T-H, Sabbath. Is ya'aduna fi sabti, when they were breaking the law in in the Sabbath day. Is ta'tihim hitanhum yawma sabtihim, when the fish would come to them in a large number, in abundance. Shur'an, in abundance, apparently, openly. Wa yawma la yasbitun, and when there was no any Sabbath day, la ta'tihim, the fish would not come to them. Kazalik, we did so. Nabluhum bima kanu yafsukun, we were putting them to trial because of their violation of the law. وَإِذْ قَالَتْ أُمَّةٌ مِّنْهُمْ لِمَ تَعِظُونَ قَوْمًا اللَّهُ مُهْلِكُهُمْ. And وَإِذْ قَالَتْ أُمَّةٌ, remember the time when one group of them said to the others, لِمَ تَعِظُونَ قَوْمًا, why are you admonishing? Why are you giving the pieces of advice to the people? Allahu mawlikuhum aw mu'azzibuhum, when Allah is going to eradicate them, aw mu'azzibuhum azaban shadida, or is going to afflict a severe punishment with them. When he is going to inflict a severe punishment to them, when they are going to be afflicted with the severe punishment. قَالُوا مَعْذِرَةً إِلَىٰ رَبِّكُمْ, they said, just we should be able to adduce a reasonable or acceptable excuse. Mazirat, an acceptable excuse. Ila rabbikum, towards your Lord. وَلَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ, and there is another possibility as well. They may mend their ways. They may correct their attitude. They may change their behavior. They may show the penitence about their present attitude. فَلَمَّا نَسُوا مَا ذُكِّرُوا بِهِ أَنْجَيْنَا الَّذِينَ يَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ السُّوءِ. So when they forgot what they were reminded of, what they were reminded of. أَنْجَيْنَا الَّذِينَ يَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ السُّوءِ. So we delivered only those people who would enjoin the people not to violate the law, not to do the bad things, who were forbidding the people committing the crime or sins. وَأَخَذْنَا الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا بِعَذَابٍ بَئِيسٍ. And we caught the people violating the law with a severe punishment. Means we penalized the transgressors, the lawbreakers, with a very severe punishment. بِمَا كَانُوا يَفْسُقُونَ, on account of the fact that they were breaking the law. So this is the verbal translation of the passage I recited before you. Here, one historical fact of the Israelite was discussed here in the Holy Quran. وَاسْأَلُهُمْ عَنِ الْقَرْيَةِ الَّتِي كَانَتْ حَاضِرَةَ الْبَحْرِ. Means, O my holy Prophet, ask the Israelites residing around you. They are claiming that they are the offspring of the prophets. They are Sayyid in the society because they are familiar of the Prophet, and according to them they were chosen for the delivery from the punishment of Allah, and according to them they were very pious, very sacred people. Allah Rabbul Izzat says that remember them, make them remember the fact when they violated the law and they were cursed by Allah Rabbul Izzat, and they were penalized, and they were chastised by Allah Rabbul Izzat. Chastised, penalized, punished. This is more proverbial and biblical word. Chastised.
Chastised.
C-H-E-S-T-I-S-E. Chastise. Chastisement, to penalize. Means this claim is bogus one and fabricated one, because though they were the family of the Prophet and they were elevated in the society according to the divine law, but they disregarded the divine law and the celestial principle suggested and systematized by Allah Rabbul Izzat for their life, for their behavior, for their daily morals. So when they dared to break the law of Allah Rabbul Izzat, they were penalized and they were degraded, and all of the dignities they were granted were taken back by Allah Rabbul Izzat. Allah says, وَاسْأَلُهُمْ عَنِ الْقَرْيَةِ الَّتِي كَانَتْ حَاضِرَةَ الْبَحْرِ. This is the city of Ayla, which is called Aqaba nowadays. It is Aqaba, the seaport. It is on the last bank of the Red Sea towards Israelites. And this city was well populated, very prosperous, and it was a business center. And at the time of David, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him, it was a capital. David, according to the Christian history, was king of the country 1000 years before BC, before the creation of Jesus Christ. BC. But according to them, David was only king. But according to us, he was a prophet as well. King as well and prophet as well. And in the reign of David, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him, Ella was a capital city. And the people were populated around that area, and they were very prosperous, and it was a trading center, and it was a trial for them that the fish used to come to them in abundance, especially on Saturday. And Saturday was a Sabbath day for them. Sabbath day means a day which is prescribed and determined by Allah Rabbul Izzat for liturgical activities, for the devotion, for the worshipping. Even the fire was not allowed to be burnt in in the oven, and no slave was allowed to be put on the work. Even the beast of burden was not allowed to be loaded with the load, because that day was specially specified and determined by Allah Rabbul Izzat for the devotion, worshipping, and the virtues. And that was Saturday. Saturday was for the Jews, and Sunday was for the Christians, and Friday is for the Muslims. But this is not whole the day, but a specific time for the Muslims to establish the Friday prayer, and they should participate in the sermon and attend the teachings of Islamic contents, and they should complete the activities concerning with the prayer. And after that, فَإِذَا قُضِيَتِ الصَّلَاةُ فَانْتَشِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. So when the prayer is accomplished, all of the Muslims are allowed to go or stay there for further devotion. But the devotional activities which are necessary for them are expire on the expiry of the prayer. But these two communities were duty bound to be occupied for the whole of the time, 24 hours, in the devotion, liturgical activities, in the worshipping, in the virtues. And worldly and corporeal work was not allowed for them in 24 hours. So when it was decided for them that they were duty bound to practice the devotion and virtues in whole of the day, they happened to see that the fish were in large number, and fishing was specially prohibited on Sabbath. They were not allowed. Their hunting, their selling, their buying was totally prohibited.
But just that they come a huge mass of fish coming to show themselves.
They used to come in a huge number, in a large number. This was a trial. This was a test by Allah Rabbul Izzat. Just like you see nowadays, the Muslims are also going to be tried by Allah Rabbul Izzat. They are going to be put to the trial. That all of the shining things, the modern civilization, the obscenity, the nudity attempted by the society is very attractive for the young generation, for the girls, for the boys, and they are being attracted. And this is a test for the Muslims, as it was put to the Israelites. Quran says, وَاسْأَلُهُمْ عَنِ الْقَرْيَةِ الَّتِي كَانَتْ حَاضِرَةَ الْبَحْرِ. It was the time of Ezekiel, which is called Hizqeel alayhi salatu wasalam. Ezekiel. The proper pronunciation is Ezekiel in English. Ezekiel. E-Z-E-K-I-E-L. Ezekiel.
In Swedish is called Hezekiel.
This is not the proper pronunciation. Proper pronunciation is Ezekiel. That is, he is called Hizqeel alayhi salatu wasalam in Arabic. And it was near about 600 BC before Christ. And in those days, he had to announce the threat that he was going to put the fire to the total city, and he was going to burn up all of the population of the people, because they were violating the divine law. In spite of the fact the people did not take any notice of the Prophet, and they began to violate the divine law, and they were very proud, and they were insolent, and they were very arrogant. They were not ready to bother for the struggle of the Prophet. Allah says, when your previous character is so heinous and so contemptible and so disdainable, so how can you claim extraordinary respect for yourself? Because the respect of a person concerns with the obedience and abiding by the divine law. When a person does not abide by the divine law, he cannot be respected. All of the prophets are very properly abiding by the divine law, and the companions of the Prophet and the family of the Prophet were strictly and very scrupulous about the observation of the divine law. So when a person neglects the obedience to the divine law, he cannot be respected. Quran says, your claims are bogus, fabricated, and baseless, because you were violating the law, and all of the dignities granted by Allah to you and to your family and to your forefathers were taken back, and you were degraded, and you cannot claim any extraordinary respect and prestige for yourself. So this is the reference made towards that population. وَاسْأَلْ أَنِ الْقَرْيَةَ الَّتِي كَانَتْ حَاضِرَةَ الْبَحْرِ. O my Holy Prophet, ask them about the details, about the history of the township which was situated on the bank of the river or bank of the ocean, in seashore, means Ayla, which was capital at the time of David and Solomon. Solomon and David, both of them were kings according to Christianity and Judaism. According to us, they were king as well, and they were prophets as well.
And Solomon was the son of Dawood.
As a son, David. Dawood is Arabic. David is English. Solomon is English, and Sulaiman is Arabic. إِذْ يَعْدُونَ فِي السَّبْتِ, when they were violating the divine law in the day of Sabbath. إِذْ تَعْتِيهِمْ خِيطَانُهُمْ يَوْمَ سَبْتِهِمْ شُرْعًا, when their fish would come to them in a large number, in abundance, and they were quite apparent on the surface of.
They put up their hats up
Yeah.
the surface.
Just like horses are in the race. وَيَوْمَ لَا يَزْوِدُونَ لَا تَعْتِيمٍ, and when there was no Sabbath day, there was no any sign of fish. Kazalik, we did so. نَبْلُوهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَفْسُقُونَ, this was just to put them to trial on account of their violation of law. This is a very strange philosophy of Allah Rabbul Izzat. Said when a person violates the law, Allah Rabbul Izzat facilitates the commission of crime for him. He begins to think that he is the righteous one, because all of the righteous persons are in a trouble. They are from hand to mouth, and their life is very tight. They are living very hard life, and the lawbreakers and transgressors are very happy. It means that if these people would have been good persons, they would have been prosperous with great wealth. They would have been with a great nobility. They would have been noble, counts, knights, landlords, and manors. But these people are very, very bankrupt and penniless, out of pocket. They live from hand to mouth. So it means that they are not beloved of Allah Rabbul Izzat. They have got nothing to do with Allah Rabbul Izzat. So under such circumstances, a person who is breaking the law is mostly misled, is mostly deviated. He thinks that he is in the right, because he is granted every type of facilities, health, wealth, prestige, honor, rank, everything. Allah Rabbul says, نَبْلُوهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَفْسُقُونَ, we were giving them the chance of prosperity, and we were facilitating the commission of the crimes, the commission of sins, because they were violating the law. So this was not an account of pleasure of Allah, but it was just to intensify their punishment. Allah wanted to give them a very severe punishment, and the grounds which are necessary to intensify the punishment, the chastisement, were being furnished in front of them. This is the philosophy of that action. So we should conclude that nowadays there are many people who are not bothering for observation of the fast. They are not establishing the prayer. They are not obeying their parents. They are not differentiating between right and wrong. They are not avoiding the unlawful things. But yet they are progressing by leaps and bounds. So one is misled, one is deceived that these persons are righteous ones because they are provided with every type of facilities of life. So all of these things are being granted by Allah Rabbul Izzat to them. So it means that they are very beloved to Allah. Allah says this was not on account of pleasure of Allah. It was not on account of consent of Allah, but it was just because of wrath of Allah, anger of Allah. Allah was facilitating the chances to commit the crimes just to intensify their punishment. Quran says, وَإِذْ قَالَتْ أُمَّةٌ مِّنْهُمْ لِمَ تَعِظُونَ قَوْمًا اللَّهُ مُهْلِكُهُمْ. Here Quran says the society was divided into three communities, into three groups. One were violating the law and they were not bothering for any admonishment or any sermon of the Prophet, and all of the oracles and precepts of the Prophet were falling flat upon them. They were not paying any attention to the advice of the Prophet. And the other one, they were not committing the crime and they could not keep quiet. They could not exercise the silence. They used to enjoin the people to abide by the Islamic law, by the divine law, and to avoid all of the commission of crime. And the third community, they were impartial. They said, we cannot quarrel with the people. We are not in position to forbid the other ones. We are not taking part in any community. We are just gentle people. We sit aside and we shall see the situation. See the situation calmly and quietly. So these three groups, one committing the crime, and the other one forbidding the people, and the third one neutral. They attempted neutrality. They did not want to take any part in any activities. They said that we are not going to fish. We are not fishing. And we are not forbidding the people, fishing people as well. And we cannot support the cause of those people who are forbidding. We are not going to furnish the sermons to the breakers of the law, and we are not going to break the law as well. So these three communities were formed here. One committing the crime, the second one neutral one, the third one forbidding the people. Not committing the crime and forbidding the people the commission of the crime. These three communities are mentioned here. Quran says, وَإِذْ قَالَتْ أُمَّةٌ مِّنْهُمْ لِمَ تَعِظُونَ قَوْمًا اللَّهُ مُهْلِكُهُمْ أَوْ مُعَذِّبُهُمْ عَذَابًا شَدِيدًا. The people who were neutral began to admonish the people forbidding the other people commission of crime. They said that, why are you forbidding the people when Allah is going to punish them, to eradicate them, to uproot them? So it is useless for you. They said that there are two benefits of our activities. The one, they may mend their ways. They may impress by us and they may follow us. They may take some good impression from our sermons and they change their attitude. And the other one, we would be in position in front of Allah, "Oh Allah, accept our excuse, because we did as much as we could." We admonish the people not to do such things, but yet they continued to do it. So it is their mistake, not our mistake, because as much as possible for us we did, but it could not bear any fruit, it could not bear any result, so it is not our fault. So there are two ways. مَنْ رَأَى مِنْكُمْ مُنْكَرًا فَلْيُغَيِّرْهُ بِيَدِهِ فَإِنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ فَبِلِسَانِهِ فَإِنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ فَبِقَلْبِهِ فَذَلِكَ أَضْعَفُ الْإِيمَانِ أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Anyone who happens to see any evil is being attempted, his duty is to catch the hand of the people and ask them not to do like that. His duty is to interrupt, his duty is to catch the people, his duty is to debar the people from commission of the crime. فَإِن لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ, if it is not possible for him, his duty is to give them advice, to advise them not to do like that. And if it is not possible for him, so his duty is to show the contempt, hatred, disdainment for their action. He should not be attracted by their violation of law. Just like nowadays, obscenity is seen everywhere, and the persons who are not participating in their activities, they are also being attracted. Hadith Rasul Pak, the precept of the Prophet, the prophetic tradition says that the last and final situation is just to show the contempt by heart, and if he does not show any contempt, any disdainment, so there is no any sign of belief in his heart. He should be included in the infidels. It means that at the time of Imam Hussain, the duty of the companion was to catch the hand of Yazid and to prevent all of the activities being exercised against Imam Hussain. And their duty was to change the structure of government, and the system of government should have been toppled by them. They should have launched the mutiny against the form of government of Yazid. Mutiny, rebellion, treason, mutiny, rebellion, etc., etc. Quran says, so these three communities were mentioned by the Holy Quran. Quran says, قَالُوا مَعْذِرَةً إِلَىٰ رَبِّكُمْ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ. There are two benefits in front of us. One is, either they should mend their ways, or we will be able to be excused in front of Allah, that whatever was possible for us we did, but it was not possible for us to kill them or to exile them from the country. We were not ruler, we were just common persons. So according to your order, we did as much as we could. Quran says, فَلَمَّا نَسُوا مَا ذُكِّرُوا بِهِ أَنْجَيْنَا الَّذِينَ يَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ السُّوءِ وَأَخَذْنَا الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا بِعَذَابٍ بَئِيسٍ. Quran says, when they forgot whatever they were reminded of, means all of the contents of Torah, the Pentateuch, the biblical sciences, the Old Testament, all of the Israel were duty bound to practice the Pentateuch, the commentary made by Moses, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him, on the Pentateuch, the Old Testament. The first 6 books of Old Testament are called Pentateuch. So Quran says, فَلَمَّا نَسُوا مَا ذُكِّرُوا بِهِ, when they forgot all of the sermons made by the prophets, all of the oracles, all of the precepts given by the prophets were made neglected, and they were just put behind the wall. They did not pay any attention to the celestial law, to the divine law. The so mazukiru bihi. This is the meaning of mazukiru bihi. Mean whatever was sent down just to mend their ways, just to give them a piece of advice. The things which were revealed to them just to advise them. When they forgot all of them, means all of the revelation of the God and precept of the Prophet were neglected and forgotten by them. Quran says, "Anjayna alladhina yanhauna anis-su." Only the community who were forbidding the people commission of the crime, who were catching the people from doing the evils, only those persons were delivered. Only those persons were saved from the punishment of Allah, and all of the other community was punished. It means that
even the neutral one.
A neutral one.
They think they
Here, the two opinions of the scholars are mentioned. One says, Abdullah ibn Abbas was reported to have said that only one group was delivered, only one group was saved from the chastisement of Allah. And the other opinion of the same person, Abdullah ibn Abbas, says that the neutral person was also saved. But this opinion is not right, because here the internal statement of the Holy Quran says that the third group, the neutral group, could not be saved, because Madaratan ila rabbikum means we are giving them the sermons, we are admonishing them just to enable them to mend their ways, or we should be excused in the court of Allah. It means that it was a culpable action on behalf of the neutral. This is why they are saying that we are just making an acceptable excuse in the court of Allah. We are forbidding the people from the evil because we are trying to make an acceptable excuse in the court of Allah. It means that it was highly culpable action on behalf of the neutral person. Otherwise there is no meaning of any excuse. Excuse is always against the culpable action. Means it was a culpable action to be neutral. Therefore they were making an acceptable excuse in the court of Allah. They said that either we should be excused by Allah Rabbul Izzat because we did whatever was possible for us, or they should mend their ways. There are two benefits which can be considered. Either these people can mend their ways, or Allah Rabbul Izzat will accept our excuse. It means that Quran says, لُعِنَ الَّذِينَ Surah Ma'idah, لُعِنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِن بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ عَلَى لِسَانِ دَاوُودَ وَعِيسَى ابْنِ مَرْيَمَ ذَلِكَ وَمَا عَصَوا وَكَانُوا يَعْتَدُونَ كَانُوا لَا يَتَنَاهَوْنَ عَن مُنكَرٍ فَعَلُوهُ لَبِئْسَ مَا كَانُوا يَفْعَلُونَ. Means the infidels of Israelites were cursed by David, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him, and by Jesus as well. ذَلِكَ وَمَا كَانُوا يَعْتَدُونَ, because they were violating the law and they were exceeding the limits. They were transgressors. What was their exceeding of limits? Quran says, كَانُوا لَا يَتَنَاهَوْنَ عَن مُنكَرٍ فَعَلُوهُ. They were not forbidding each other from commission of crime. On account of this crime, we penalized all of them. All of them were cast. So the internal evidence of the Holy Quran shows that it was a highly culpable action, that one should be neutral at the time of forbidding the people. When the people are in the need to be forbidden from the commission of crime, at that time one exercises the silence. Silence always implies consent.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Therefore, we Muslims are duty bound to prevent the other people, to advise them to be accurate, to practice Islam, to materialize the Islamic contents, to practice the Holy Quran, to practice the prophetic traditions, and to assume the form of a true Muslim. It is our duty. Either these people should mend their ways, or we should be excused in the court of Allah. And if we...
This is the point.
This is the point. This is the point. This is the point of my lecture today. وَأَخَذْنَا الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا بِعَذَابٍ بَئِيسٍ بِمَا كَانُوا يَفْسُقُونَ. And we caught the lawbreakers, the transgressors, on account of their violation of the law. This is the end of my lecture today for half an hour. Because today is just beginning a preliminary lecture of today. Inshallah, we shall complete the scale of our lecture tomorrow.